Hello, in this second tutorial on Google Keep, we're going to get in more deeply into some of the settings and options that you have here to help make it more useful for you. So first of all, I'd like to create one more note. And I'll go back and create something similar to my shopping note from the previous video. So milk, bread, apples, grapes. There you go. So I have a note. You can notice that there are tools that come up along the bottom in this environment, not in the extension that we used previously, and we're going to look at these in the video. But for right now, I'll say done. So now I have my three lists. As a reminder, clicking and dragging will let me organize the lists. I'm not going to be able to put that underneath until I run out of space on this particular line. So let me make another note and say so you can see that once you've run out of space horizontally, it will start stacking them below. And you're going to have some flexibility in how to organize these, but as the heights are different, that will limit you to some degree. It's going to want to put this node in here because there's more space here. So if I go to put it over here, it's going to give me a little bit of a problem. But let's look at alternate ways to organize this. So I'm going to come into my first note, and one of the simplest ways is to mouse over the change color icon. And you can color code your notes. So I'm going to say that these two notes are things that I associate together. As are those. So it's one simple way to make the view more accessible to you. If I do flop back into list view, you can see they're nice and neat. And one advantage of this view is if this was a to-do list or things that I needed to do, I could simply stack them in the order that I wanted to see them. These are the first things I need to do, these are the second things I need to do, etc. So different strategies. If I need to edit a note, I can simply click on it. Done, and the edits are done. To deselect the note, I can simply click on a blank space. Other options for notes. One would be to set a reminder. Some default options will be available to you later today, 8 p.m., tomorrow, 8 a.m., next week, 8 a.m. Now these defaults can be edited, and we'll look at how to do that in a moment. Or you can pick a date and time. So this works in the way you would expect it. You simply select the date. You can select the time from these pre-entered settings, which we'll edit. Or you can go to custom and do any time that you want. So I would like this at 7:30 a.m. And I also have the option to make it repeat or recur. And if I want to set that, I can do that on a daily basis, a weekly basis, a monthly basis, a yearly basis. Or again, I can have a custom setting. This custom setting is a bit more limited than like in a Google Calendar, but you can have it repeat. Instead of every day, you can have it repeat every 2 days. You can stop it after a certain number of occurrences, or you can stop it on a specific date. So I'm going to say that that's going to stop on November 1st. And then I'll simply have to click Done. And save. Remember to hit save. And the reminder is now on. We'll say Done. So this will send an email to the associated Gmail account every 2 days until November 1st at 7:30 a.m. If I want to see only the events or only the notes that have reminders on them, I can filter them that way, and you see that now appears. Or I can see all of my notes. Additional options. If you have a note, you can choose to share it. So I'm going to share this with another account that I have. And that is now shared. So in that other account, I can go into Google Keep, and that will appear. So let's take a look at that now. To save time, I've already logged into that account in another browser. This is the Gmail for the other, and you can see that there's a note here. So I received an email that this had been shared with me. If I actually go to Keep, you can see it right here. The only difference between this note and the one in my other account is that this particular note would not carry any labels that were associated with the other account, because that's something personal to this account. So I could come in and add a label myself. And the label name will be From Rich. I'm going to create that label. It adds to my label categories. It's associated here. However, you'll see that it is not here. So labels are not shared along with a note. Okay, we do have some other options under the More setting. I could delete this note if I no longer need it. I could apply labels if I didn't do it originally, and we'll look at that in a moment. I could make a copy. So if there's some reason that I wanted a slightly different version, I could simply do it like that. Notice that the reminder setting did not come with the copy. Or I could copy this directly into a Google Doc. So let's go back and add a label to this one, since there's no label on this side. And you'll notice that these labels, the ones that I created before, appear as options. They're under here, but they're not checked. So this is a personal note, but it has nothing to do with professionalism or shopping. So I'll just leave it like that. And now I've associated that label with this note. Notice if I mouse over my recurrence options, I could delete those directly from there. And of course that would be the same for any reminder, whether it repeated or not. Let's go ahead and delete this copy. So the easiest way is to click on the More icon, delete the note. Now we'll remove the copy for you. You have the option to undo it if you've accidentally clicked it. We could also get it back from the trash, and we'll look at that in a moment. Now, accessing the menus by mousing over is not showing you an absolute complete set of your options. In order to get that, you're going to click directly on the note and bring it to the foreground. We do have the Remind, we have the Share, we can choose our colors. We also have an Add Image option, which we haven't used before. So let's try that. I'm going to say Add Image. Let's just scroll down here and grab any kind of image. We'll say Done. And that image is now associated with the note. Now that can be very, very useful as a cue to you about what these notes are about and help in the organization of your information. Another option you have is to create your note into a list. And to do that, let me use this one. This one should work particularly well. I'm going to click on my shopping list, use the More icon, and within there's going to be an option to show checkboxes. I can add additional list items if I want, but if this was complete, I'll simply say Done. And now I can use this as a checklist. So let me put it right up there. First thing I need to do is a shopping. So be it on my phone, iPad, etc., I could simply check off the items as I got them. Now something like this is fairly transient, and if it was a shopping list, it's not something I really need forever. So something like that I might delete. But if there was a note that I wanted to keep around for a while, or a list, it doesn't matter what it is, you can use this archive button. And what that does is it takes it out of my view, so I don't see it anymore. It doesn't clutter up my working space, and I can see just what's current. But if I do go into my archive, you'll see the things that I've archived in there. I'll go back to notes. Now I'd like to look at another option for saving things from the internet. So I've gone and I've done a little search for teacher inspiration. I like this one. Note that your options for Google Images have changed, which is great. And I'm just going to go to visit the page in this case. I could visit the image, which might be easier, but let's just say that I've found this page in some other way. And I come down on this page and it's this image that I really like. So if I right click on this image, you can see that my Google Keep Chrome extension has been inserted into my context menu, my right click menu, and I can save the current page if I want. So I can save that link, or I can simply save the image. So I'm going to save that image. It gives me an option to put a note in here if I want. Remember, it's saving constantly, so I don't have to do anything to get that done. And you can see it's here now. So the image is here, the link is here, my note is here. And because this particular image has writing on it, I have one other option that may work. Now this said, depending on the text and the background and how confusing it is, it doesn't always work. But there's a grab image text option. And when I do that, it was able to read the text from this, bring it right back down to the bottom. So I could put this out into a Google Doc, I could copy and paste it. It's just one more potential time-saving tool. Now I'd like to revisit that page for a second, and I'll go back up to my Keep extension and click on it. You'll notice that it brings up all the information that's currently in the note. If I highlight additional information, you can see that that is also added to the note. So anything I highlight on that page is going to get put into the note. So perhaps I don't want a picture, but I just want to find some information to create a note from. So let's go over to another site. Here you go, teach.com. And that it's this quote that I want to save. Already in place. Although that information would already be here. I can label it professional. And that is done. I'd like to very quickly go through a few more things on the site. One would be labels. You can come into edit here, and you can see if you no longer need a label, you can simply click the trash can and delete it. It will be removed from all of your notes. And you can also create new labels directly there. We've briefly talked about the archive. This is where we store things we're not using right now. If we click on it, there will be an unarchive button to bring it back so you can reuse that. You do have a trash bin, and clicking on that, you can delete forever or restore it. And in settings is where you can set those default reminder times.